How are you? Fletch, your host. Today we're going to talk about the store every guy dreams about. They can't wait to go. They don't mind staying there for an hour. They don't even want to leave. Yep. It's a store where I can get a wire nut. I need one more corner bracket. I need some of these little dealies for wiring. I also needed some screws for a cabinet. They're not long enough. It won't stretch. I guess I'll need to get some longer ones. You notice I said I need one. I could go to Menards. I could go to Home Depot. But I'd get a package of 10. I don't need 10. I need one. Can't go to Target to get that stuff. You don't go to a shoe store to find that stuff. Where does a guy go? I'm hoping every home or every town that you live in, or the towns that you live in, they have one hardware store. The old-fashioned hardware store. Here in Maple Grove, Minnesota, we had two. One closed down. It was right next door to my house. Visited it very often. I loved walking in there. There is one still on the south end of town. I'll visit every once in a while. But I'm sure all the old timers like me, we recall driving up to that hardware store, walking in, setting your foot on that hardwood floor, and it creaked. Creaked. Can't do a creak sound. You knew other people were in there when you just stood there still and hear them walking around. Another thing was cool. They walked up to you, the salesperson, and asked, "Can I help you?" Usually an older gentleman who's been doing this forever and ever and ever. He knew exactly what you needed. He knew exactly where it went. He would walk, you would follow the dude. It'd be like a maze. You're going down this aisle, you're going down that aisle. You take a left, you take a right. He looks down on the floor, pulls a bin out. There it is. Might cost me a lot more money, but I don't care. I only need one. I don't need a package of 10 and having 9 laying around the house. I usually have a question for the gentleman, and he usually answers it. He knows exactly what I'm going through. The stress, especially plumbing. We all know, guys, when you start a plumbing job, you go to that hardware the store 3 different times. And as you go back for the third guy, the guy's chuckling at you. And he goes, I told you to get that one extra part. You know us guys, we're all stubborn. We think we know it all. Where actually, he knows more than I do. I won't admit it. And I'll tell him as I visit him for the third time, "You're right." And your head's down, your dauber's down, and you're just like, I wish I would have listened. I only went twice. But I'm afraid every plumbing job I do, I go 3 times. Such is life. But he is there to help me. And he does every time. Now, I always reference to a guy because it is a guy. And usually it's a person who's been in the business forever and just decided to do this part-time gig. They're awesome. They know their stuff. Get a little chuckle in, with them. And talk guy talk, and things like that. What's funny is when you need that one bolt or screw for your cabinet handle, which isn't too long enough, so you need a longer one. And he takes you over to the bin where the bolts are. Just drawers. You look down that aisle and all you will see is drawers. And you like, sweat trickles down a little bit. And he kind of points you to the general area because he doesn't want to stand around and watch you doing all this, you know. So I always tell him, just point me in the direction. And he does. There they are. Whole bank of walls of nuts, bolts, pins, you name it, it's there. Usually I bring my own little screw here. There it is. Of course, I don't know what thickness, how many threads per inch. I don't know. So the first challenge is get the nut. Male, female. Screw on the nut. Hey, it's an 8/32. Go over, of course, put the nut back in the right slot. Hate when those little boxes inside those drawers are all mixed up. People don't show the respect and just plop it in there. Put them right in the right box. So you know it's an 8/32. Yours is an 1 3/4. Yeah, 1.5 inches. You need the 1 3/4. Find the box. Bingo. 8/32. 1 3/4. There you go. Now, of course, there's another step when you do find that. You got to write down how much it is. You don't have to come up with a code. You just go, 8 cents each. Write it on your hand. I don't know. Take a picture with your camera. That's what I do. And off you go up to the counter to pay for it. And usually the part-timer's there, young kid. I got 3 of these at 8 cents. Bingo. In and out. Love it. Or if you got time, you walk around. Because you know why? The smell. It's like the casinos in Las Vegas. That oxygen. It just keeps you in there. You walk in that hardware store, you walk on that floor and it's creaking. And then the smell, especially if they have a rental department, oil. Or you smell hoses. That rubber hose smell. Rope. Does rope got a smell to it? Yeah, I guess it does. It's just the combined smells of hardware. Tim Allen would just be happy to be there. And, you know, another thing too, if it does have the rental area, I always just want to look at the tools that are available. Heck, I just want to rent one and bring it home to play with it. You don't have a job, but I do like looking at, just going, wow, look at that one. I want to bring that home. I want to play with that thing. I want to drill a couple holes with that. I just had to recently rent a hammer drill I had to drill some holes in the concrete. In and out. Cost me $10. Better than buying the new drill. Yep, I always go by rental places too. You see those cherry pickers now. Boy, man, when I painted my house years ago, I wish I had one to rent. It'd be fun to play with. You know, another reason it's cool to hang out in the hardware store, free coffee, and they always got a popcorn machine in the corner. You know, you just can't pass up a good bag of popcorn in a hardware store. It just goes hand to hand. So yes, I always get a kick out of the rental area. You know, also the neat little things that you can get too. You need some rope. You only need 10 feet. You go to the local hardware store. Snip, you got 10 feet. You know, another thing is electrical wire. You know, sometimes I'm doing projects at the house because I don't call the guy. I'll do it myself. And I only need 10 feet. 12.2, need 10 feet. Boom, local hardware store. He's got it. Snip. Off I go. I don't want to go to Menards and get 50 feet. I only need 10 feet. Yep. Another nice feature too, you need some single glass cut for, say, a picture frame. Tell them, hey, I need 16 by 16. Snip, snip, snip. Wraps it up in some nice paper, and you got a nice chunk of glass. Another thing, and I used to do this, cutting keys. Yes. You need a couple more keys for your house. Go down there, give it to the guy. He looks on that rack, he spins around, finds the correct one, puts it as a machine, locks it in place, grinds it down to what it needs to be. Nice feature. Of course, now you go to Menards, it's the machine that does it. You stick it in there, somehow it grabs it and cuts you a key. Never done it. Walked by it one day, I'm like, what is that? So, you know, occasionally I don't need it, but you can get threaded pipe. Yeah, they'll even thread it for you. So, those are the nice little things that you can get. Or screens, you know, there's some, I think the local hardware, you know, got a torn screen in your house, pop it out, bring it down to the guy, pops out the screen, puts in some new one, puts his little rubber spline in there, rolls it in, cut the excess, boom, brand new screen. Yep. So, to wrap this up, try to go to your local hardware store. It's usually an independent guy barely getting by. Of course, that's probably why we lost the one near my house, because he wasn't making any money. Yeah, it's too bad. You know, you need a little bit of rope, electrical wire, need a match, couple of screws. You only need 2 or 3. Go to your local hardware. Walk in those floors and make that floor squeak. I'm saying not all hardwares have squeaky floors, but the old ones do have the nice oak or maple flooring, and it just creaked like there was no tomorrow. It was like an old haunted house. Yes, it was. So, as I sit in my garage, a little sticky out here, thanks for watching. And if you like the channel, please subscribe. Hit the like button and leave me an old hardware story. I enjoy reading them. So again, go to your local hardware store. They'll keep it simple. Until the next time, take care.